Ever feel like you're shouting into the void, you know? You've got these like brilliant ideas,
Yeah.
game-changing insights, but they
Yeah.
just don't seem to stick with people. It's
But
frustrating, right?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everyone remembers, where's the beef?
Absolutely.
But good luck getting anyone to repeat your killer idea about,
Yeah.
I don't know, optimizing office paperclip usage or something like that.
That's a fantastic point. It's
Yeah.
not always about the quality of the idea itself,
Yeah.
but how it's presented.
Right.
And that's where our deep dive today comes in.
Okay.
We're going to crack the code of stickiness
Okay.
using the book Made to Stick by Chip and Dan Heath.
Okay.
They've analyzed all kinds of ideas from like urban legends to ad campaigns to figure out why some grab hold and others just vanish.
Okay, color me intrigued.
Good.
So we've got excerpts from Made to Stick,
Yes.
and our mission is to help you make your ideas unforgettable.
That's right.
Whether you're pitching a project, explaining something complex, or just trying to win that next debate with your friend.
Absolutely.
No more shouting into the void.
Precisely.
Right.
And the Heath brothers give us a framework with 6 key principles.
Okay.
First up is the power of unexpectedness.
Okay.
Think about it. Our brains are constantly trying to predict what's next.
Right.
We crave patterns,
Yeah.
order,
Sure.
but a truly sticky idea
Yeah.
throws a wrench in the works.
Okay.
It violates our expectations and grabs our attention because it's different, it's novel.
Okay, so like instead of sending a boring meeting invite that says project update,
Yeah.
you start with, there's been a major development that changes everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've created a knowledge gap,
Right.
and now everyone is leaning in, desperate to know more.
Yeah.
Remember those Southwest Airlines safety announcements everyone loves?
Oh, yeah.
Same principle.
Okay.
They took something usually dull and made it memorable by being quirky and unexpected.
Okay, I'm seeing how that works.
Yeah.
But doesn't this mean every idea has to be some wild,
Okay.
over-the-top spectacle?
Not necessarily.
What if I'm dealing with, serious business stuff?
That's where the second principle comes in. Simplicity.
Okay.
And no, it's not about dumbing things down.
Oh.
It's about finding the core of your idea.
Right.
The absolute essence.
Yeah.
And expressing it with clarity and conciseness.
Got it.
Think of proverbs like, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
Yeah.
Simple, memorable, and packed with wisdom.
Right, but is it really that simple?
Well,
I mean, it's the economy, stupid, worked for the Clinton campaign.
right.
But isn't that a bit simplistic?
That's the beauty of it.
Okay.
It cut through the noise and focused on what truly mattered.
Yeah.
The challenge is to distill your message down to its core.
Okay.
What's the one thing you absolutely want people to remember?
Right.
Then frame it in a way that's easy to grasp.
This is making me rethink my usual email style, which is a bit on the rambling side. I
Right.
see. Okay, what's next in our stickiness arsenal?
The third principle is concreteness.
Okay.
Abstract ideas are slippery,
Yeah.
hard to grasp,
Right.
and even harder to remember.
Yeah.
But concrete images, vivid descriptions, those stick with us.
Okay.
Instead of talking about efficiency,
Yeah.
tell a story about how a single process change saved your company thousands of dollars.
Okay.
That image is powerful.
So it's like instead of explaining freedom in some vague philosophical way,
Yes.
you could describe the feeling of someone taking their first breath of fresh air after being released from prison.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which one is going to hit home harder?
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Right.
Fables work this way too.
Okay.
The Fox and the Grapes uses a concrete story. The Hungry Fox, the
Yeah.
out-of-reach grapes,
Yeah.
to convey an abstract idea about coping with disappointment.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
This is giving me all sorts of ideas for spicing up my presentations. Okay, let's keep this stickiness train rolling.
Okay.
What's principle number 4?
Next up is credibility.
Okay.
Why should people believe what you're saying?
Right.
Sticky ideas have this built-in believability.
Okay.
Whether it's from a trusted authority,
Yeah.
or sometimes even more effectively,
Yeah.
from an unexpected source.
It's like that old saying, it takes one to know one. Think about those powerful anti-smoking campaigns
Right.
featuring people who had suffered from smoking-related illnesses.
Yeah.
Their stories resonated because they were real, raw, and came from a place of lived experience.
The Heath brothers call that anti-authority.
Okay.
Then there's the power of testable credentials.
Okay.
The classic, "Where's the beef" campaign.
Right.
It wasn't just a catchy slogan.
Yeah.
It encouraged people to go out and compare burgers themselves. to see if Wendy's really lived up to the hype.
So instead of just telling people your product is the best,
Exactly.
you give them a way to experience it for themselves, to verify the claim.
That's right.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
What about the emotional side of things?
Sure.
Does that play a role in stickiness?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Principle number 5 is all about emotional connection.
Okay.
Sticky ideas make us feel something.
Right.
They tap into our values, our fears, our aspirations,
Yeah.
making us care enough to take action.
Okay, so let's say I'm trying to raise money for a local animal shelter.
Yeah.
Showing people heartbreaking statistics about animal homelessness
Yeah.
might not be as effective as telling the story of one particular dog
Right. Yes.
who was rescued from a terrible situation and is now thriving in a loving home.
You hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
That's the Mother Teresa effect in action.
Oh.
We're wired to connect with individual stories
Right.
more powerfully than abstract data.
Yeah.
Think about your own charitable giving.
Okay.
Are you more moved by a compelling story or just raw statistics?
Definitely the story.
Yep.
It makes the issue feel personal and relatable.
Exactly.
So we've covered 5 principles: unexpectedness, simplicity, concreteness, credibility, and emotions.
That's right.
What's the final ingredient in the stickiness recipe?
The 6th principle is the power of stories.
Okay.
We're storytelling creatures.
Yeah.
Stories are how we learn,
Right.
how we connect, how we make sense of the world.
Yeah.
They provide a framework for understanding complex ideas and inspire us to act.
Like the classic story of Jared from Subway.
Exactly.
That he lost a ton of weight eating Subway sandwiches.
Right.
And his story became a powerful marketing tool
Yeah.
because it made healthy eating feel achievable.
Exactly.
It gave people a model, a path to follow.
Right.
Okay.
The Heath brothers highlight 3 basic story plots that resonate deeply with us. The challenge plot, where we see someone overcome obstacles.
Yeah.
The connection plot,
Yeah.
where relationships are built and differences are bridged.
Okay.
And the creativity plot,
Yeah.
where someone finds an innovative solution to a problem.
So it's not just about telling any story.
No.
It's about choosing stories that align with the message you want to convey
Yeah.
and the emotions you want to evoke.
That's right.
What about those times when we hear a great story
Yeah.
but don't recognize its potential?
It happens all the time.
Okay.
The Heath brothers tell a fascinating story
Okay.
about a conference organizer
Okay.
who wanted a different kind of summary of the event.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Tell me more.
This organizer asked for a collection of the most memorable stories from the conference.
Okay.
Instead of the usual dry technical report,
Yeah.
they wanted something engaging,
Yeah.
something that would capture the essence of the presentations
Right.
in a way that people would actually remember.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
It's like, who wants to wade through pages of jargon when you can hear a bunch of interesting anecdotes that bring the event to life?
Right, right.
Right.
Well, they had a team take notes on all the stories shared during the conference, and the organizer was thrilled with the result.
Oh, okay.
But then,
Uh-oh, I sense a plot twist.
yes,
Uh-huh.
the organizer decided to send the story summaries
Okay.
to all the conference presenters
Yeah.
as a courtesy,
Uh-huh.
and they were furious.
No, no.
They felt like their presentations,
Yeah.
their years of research and expertise
Yeah.
had been reduced to a bunch of anecdotes.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I guess they felt like the complexity and nuance of their work had been lost in translation.
Exactly.
It's like taking a symphony and reducing it to a few simple notes.
Precisely.
Right.
And this highlights a trap
Oh.
the Heath brothers call the curse of knowledge.
Oh.
When we know something really well,
Yeah.
it's hard to imagine what it's like not to know it.
Right.
We might communicate in a way that makes perfect sense to us,
Right.
but is totally over the heads of our audience.
Yeah. So the presenters were speaking from a place of deep expertise,
Yes.
but they forgot to connect with their audience on a human level through stories and relatable examples.
Exactly.
And that's why stories are so powerful.
Yes.
They help us overcome the curse of knowledge
Right.
and make even the most complex ideas understandable and engaging.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got our 6 stickiness principles.
Yes.
But how do we actually use them?
That's a great question.
Do I need to become some kind of storytelling guru overnight?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's about shifting your perspective.
Okay.
Putting on what the Heath brothers call core message glasses.
Oh, okay.
Before you communicate any idea,
Right.
ask yourself,
Yeah.
what's the absolute essence of what I want to convey?
Okay.
And how can I frame it in a way that's unexpected, concrete, credible, emotional,
Uh-huh.
and maybe even tell a story?
So it's not about being the most charismatic person in the room.
Right.
It's about understanding these principles.
Yes.
And using them strategically.
That's right.
I like that.
Good.
What about decision making?
Sure.
Can these principles help with that too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The Heath brothers talk about how these principles can combat decision paralysis.
Okay.
That feeling of being overwhelmed by too many choices.
Oh, tell me about it.
Right.
I practically need a therapy session after trying to pick a movie on Netflix.
Yeah.
There are just too many options.
Well, the Heath brothers argue that one way to overcome this paralysis is to focus on the core.
Okay.
They give the example of Southwest Airlines.
Okay, what did Southwest do?
They faced a tough decision about whether to add a new fare category.
Uh-huh.
It was a complex issue with lots of potential ramifications.
Yeah.
But instead of getting bogged down in endless analysis,
Right.
they focused on their core mission to be the low-fare airline.
Got it.
They created a simple set of rules,
Okay.
almost like proverbs,
Yeah.
to guide their decision-making.
So they had a clear framework that helped them cut through the noise
Yes.
and make decisions aligned with their core values.
That's right.
That's brilliant.
It is.
And it shows how these principles can be applied to all sorts of situations. It's
right.
not just communication.
Exactly.
This is all making so much sense. It's like, instead of feeling overwhelmed by the need to be a master storyteller,
Yeah.
I can use these principles as a toolkit
Yes.
to shape my ideas and make them more impactful.
Exactly.
It's about understanding the tools
Right.
and then using them in a way that feels authentic to you.
That's right.
Now, speaking of memorable stories,
Yes.
there's one more from Made to Stick
Okay.
that I think perfectly illustrates the power of these principles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All ears, lay this last story on me.
It's the story of Art Silverman,
Okay.
a public health advocate.
Oh, there.
He's trying to raise awareness
Okay.
about the surprising amount of saturated fat in movie popcorn.
Movie popcorn. Isn't that kind of a niche issue? I mean, it's not exactly climate change or world hunger or something.
That's what makes it so interesting.
Okay.
Silverman knew he couldn't just tell people, hey, popcorn's bad for you,
Right.
especially in a dark theater where everyone's enjoying their buttery treat.
Yeah.
He had to get creative.
So how did he make this idea stick? Did he picket movie theaters with signs showing clogged arteries or something?
Even better,
Yeah.
he went on a popular talk show
Okay.
and laid out a day's worth of fatty foods. Bacon, eggs, cheeseburgers, the whole 9 yards,
Yeah.
next to a large tub of movie popcorn.
Oh, wow. I bet that got people's attention. A visual like that is hard to ignore.
Exactly. And then he delivered the knockout punch.
Okay.
He said, this is how much saturated fat is in this one tub of movie popcorn.
Yeah.
Boom.
Okay.
Simple.
Yeah.
Concrete.
Yeah.
Unexpected. People were floored.
That's such a brilliant use of concreteness. It takes this abstract concept, saturated fat, and turns it into something tangible and relatable. Suddenly you're not just thinking about numbers. You're seeing a mountain of greasy food.
Right. And he didn't just rely on shock value.
Okay.
He backed up his claims with solid research from credible sources, adding that extra layer of believability.
Right.
Plus, he tapped into people's emotions by discussing the long-term health risks.
Yeah. Okay.
Not in a preachy way, but in a way that made people think twice.
So he basically nailed all 6 principles: unexpectedness, concreteness, simplicity, credibility, emotions.
Yes.
And while he didn't tell a specific story,
Right.
that visual itself told a powerful story.
You got it. And his message spread like wildfire.
Wow.
It sparked a national conversation about movie popcorn,
Really?
leading some theaters to offer healthier options. Or because one guy figured out how to make his idea stick.
It really goes to show that you don't need a huge platform or a fancy marketing budget to make a difference. Sometimes all it takes is a well-crafted idea.
Absolutely. It's about understanding your audience, knowing what will resonate with them,
Yeah.
and then using these principles to shape your message.
This has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new set of tools for not just getting my ideas across, but making them truly unforgettable.
And remember, these principles apply to so much more than just presentations or pitches.
Right.
You can use them to improve your everyday communication.
Okay.
Whether you're explaining something to your kids, writing a compelling email, or even just trying to get your point across in a casual conversation.
It's like having a secret decoder ring for communication.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part is,
Yeah.
you don't need to be a natural-born storyteller to make this work. Just keep those core message glasses on,
Right.
and you'll be amazed at the difference it makes.
This has been so insightful. Thanks for diving into this with me. And for all of you listening, remember, the world is full of great ideas, but the ones that change things, the ones that truly matter, are the ones that stick. Go out there and make your ideas unforgettable.